All right, we are going to do the exercises of trigonometry, some trigonometry exercises. So this question of the trigonometry is going to involve trig ratios and the trigonometry, what we call the compound angles. Okay, so when we have this, I think we have to look at this carefully, which is not gonna be difficult. Okay, so we have to look at the first this question. Okay, first of all, you have to look at here. Look at the graph that is given to you. Okay, so you have to look at the graph that is given to you, which is we have a p, sorry, we have the value of a p, the p which is k and a 1. Okay, so in any coordinate, when you have a coordinate represented by x and y. Okay, so we can see here they say that in the diagram p, the point p with the coordinate k and 1 is the point of a second quadrant. Okay, second quadrant and is square root 5 unit from the origin. What that means, it means that the radius or the radius is square root 5. Okay, or the hypotenuse is square root 5. So we can say r is square root 5. So k represents x. Remember the formula that linked the three value that we have r, x and y, it's Pythagoras. So you have r squared equal to x squared plus y squared. So r squared, remember, it's a square root of a 5. We have a square root 5, and now x represented by k, so k squared, and then we have a 1 squared. So square root of a 5 all squared will give you 5, and then 1 squared is 1, so 5 minus 1, and a k squared. So we'll have a k will give you square root of a 4, which is plus and a minus 2. So, but you are not going to use which sign you're going to use. It will be negative. Okay, because we are in the second quadrant. So in the second quadrant here, the x will be negative, but y will be positive. Okay, so you can say, okay, this is a 2 marks. Okay, how do you have so many steps? I always say, because of you students, this is me as a teacher, I'm explaining, I have to break all this. But if it was myself, all I will do, I know that I have the formula r squared x squared plus y squared. So I know already here I'll have square root exponent 2, then I have x plus 1 squared. So here I know will give me 5. Okay, this is k squared. So I know here I have a 5. When I transpose this, will be minus 1. which means here will be 4. So I have a k squared equal to 4, so k will give me minus 2. Okay, k will give me minus 2 because we have a negative. Now, what will be the next question? If we have a tangent, okay, we have a tangent we have a tangent theta. All right, tangent is y over x. So what is your y? What is the y value? The y will be 1 square root, the x will be minus 2. So tangent theta will be minus 1 over 2. Okay? So if you say, okay, it's 1 max, so how do you have so many steps with 1 max? So if it was me again, you can just say tangent theta, tangent is y over x. So your x, it's this one, your y, it's 1, so you have minus 1 over 2. Because negative here, okay, cannot be in a denominator. So tangent theta, it's minus y, so y over x. So done. Now next question. So I want you to write it like this so you can have an idea. We have a k which is equal to x equal to minus 2, and I will have a y equal to 1, and I will have a square root r equal to square root over 5. So you can keep this, is very important. Now when you come to cos 180 plus theta, 180 plus theta, this is the third quadrant. Okay, it's very important to know which quadrant. Okay, in the third quadrant we have a minus. Third quadrant is here first, so we have first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant. Remember, cos is only positive in the first and the second quadrant. So here, a third quadrant will be minus cos theta. Now, cos, what is the x value? Cos is what? X over r. What is our x? It's minus 2. And the r is the square root over 5. So this will give you positive 2 over square root 5. Alright, so now I want you to look at question 5. This question, I want you to pause the question and then pause the video, try this question yourself. Then I will be back to you. Okay, let's continue. So we have now this question, which is a sine theta plus 60 degrees. Okay, and they say this must be in the form over a plus b over square root over 20. So how are you going to do this? Expand this, okay, by using the formula sine alpha plus beta. which is going to give you sine alpha cos beta plus cos alpha sine beta. Alright, so our alpha will be theta and our 60 degrees will be beta. So we'll have here sine of a theta plus 60 degrees will give you sine theta cos 60 degrees plus cos theta sine 60 degrees. This will give you cos over 60 degrees, it's 1 over 2. And the sin theta, or let's start sin theta. Remember, we have our x, our r, it's square root 5, and the x is minus 2, y it's 1. Remember, we are still here. So sine it's y over r. What is our y value? It's 1 over r, which is square root 5. And then cos over 60 degrees, it's 1 over 2. Okay? So then we have a cos. Remember, cos it's minus, it's x over r, which means minus 2, which is the value of k, divided by square root of 5. And then sine over 60 degrees, square root 3 over 2. So now, if you watch here very carefully, you have a square root 5 multiplied by 2. So you can also write square root 2, you put squared here, because square root over 2 squared, which is a square root over 4. So 4, square root over 4 is equal to 2. Square root of 4 is what? 2. So this is what is going to happen. You can have 5 multiplied by 4, which is square root 20. So if, in another way, when you take a 2 inside the square root, it becomes 2 squared, which is 4. So we'll have here, therefore we have 1 divided by square root over 20. And here we can say plus minus 2 square root 3 divided by square root over 20. So same thing here. So we'll have here, how am I writing this thing? We'll have simple things here will be 1 common denominator, okay? Our common denominator is square root over 20. So here we have a plus. If I can do it like this. Alright. So we have what they ask us to do. They ask us to do. So we have a sine of theta plus 60 degrees is equal to 1 plus minus 2 square root 5 over 20. So this is exactly the question they ask us, in form of a plus b over square root 20. So our a is going to be 1, and our b is minus square root 3 all over 20, all over 20. So this is some exercises about trigonometry ratio and the compound angle. So we're going to continue with some exercises in the next what video. Thank you.